Oh, hey there. I'm just a normal guy playing some video games. Oh, what is this video game, you ask? Oh, the best one of all. The Mario Kart Super Circuit home menu. Video games, I love them, you love them, everyone loves them, right? I have an entire channel talking about them. So why are some of them not liked? Something like a game I like isn't liked by someone else. This is absurd. Why is this even still on?
I hate you.
Games. We all love games, right? Ever since they were in arcades in the 70s and 80s, all the way up to the Switch to today, people always loved getting their fix of dopamine by controlling moving images on a screen. When I move the joystick, it moves the thing? Oh my god, this is revolutionary! Games have always existed and people always loved them. However, there's a real disparity when it comes to them. Some games are really, really good and get all the respect that they deserve, and some games are really awful and deserve to burn in hell. However, there's a middle ground, an uncanny valley of these games. Games that are amazing and good, but just don't get the respect they need. I just don't get it. Why will people respect me for owning this? Now, do keep in mind, for the purposes of today's video, I'm really only talking about Nintendo games, but games that are underappreciated can come from all sides of the gaming industry. Anywhere from the indie developer to the big leagues. Anyone can have an underappreciated game. But again, today we're just be talking about the Nintendo ones. Starting off with Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt? Duck Hunt? Yeah. Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt is a game where, fun fact, you hunt ducks. Hunt duck? I don't know how to operate one of these things. How do I hunt them? What? Yeah! Duck Hunt was a game on the NES that would use the NES Zapper. This is a device that allowed you to point at your television and shoot whatever was on it, and it would actually be accurate and would actually know what you were pointing at. Wow, this is real fun. Oh, hey, John. Wait a minute. You're black! And I'm a police officer! Wait, I'm black! And I'm a police officer! The NES Zapper is an incredibly innovative device. It allowed you to shoot at your television and it would be able to detect this by detecting a flashing light box, which would appear whenever you shot the gun. It would appear whenever it was shootable, and if it was pointing at that shootable thing, well, it would send that signal down to the console and you'd be able to hit it. This gave way to games like Duck Hunt, which previously could only have existed within their own individual arcade units, but now allowed them to work on pretty much any TV, except for modern ones. Like that. Most modern TVs tend to be LCD, LED, or OLED displays. However, back in the day, all you had was cathode ray tube, or CRT displays. Like that! CRT TVs were the only thing that you could use in order to watch your TV back in the day, but on a CRT, it had something that modern TVs don't. Zero input lag. Input lag is basically where you pick an input and it lags. Sort of like this. Now, the input lag on modern TVs is way too small for you to notice. You can't notice it, but a game console, even one as old as the NES, well, it can. Despite the fact that the NES is essentially a dinosaur when it comes to consoles, it can actually recognize the exact input lag that you've got. And because CRTs have no input lag and display things in real time, the NES Zapper will only work on it. Now, there's ways to mod the Zapper and also mod Duck Hunt in order to get it to work on a modern display, but realistically, are you gonna do that? You can mod it, but there's just not much point. Just get a CRT, they look better with old games anyways. However, underappreciated games were not just exclusive to consoles. They also existed on the handheld. What? I'm playing Nothing the Game. It's actually really good. Mario Kart Super Circuit was a game for the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. It was a Mario Kart of that system, and it was actually really good. I like it. Mario Kart Super Circuit is often conflated with Super Mario Kart because they're both 2D. People often tend to be really racist against 2D Mario Karts for some reason. Oh, hey Mario Kart 64, how you doing? Super Mario Kart? Get out of my neighborhood! However, despite the fact that they're both 2D, Super Circuit is way different from Super Mario Kart. The controls on Super Circuit are just much better than Super Mario Kart. It's also got better items as well. The rubber banding on the AIs, while it is still noticeable, it's nowhere near as bad as the original Mario Kart or 64 or nowadays even Mario Kart World. Super Circuit just has some sort of unique charm about it that I just can't get off from. I love Super Circuit's charm. It's just such an amazing Mario Kart that's just overlooked because it's 2D. Out of all the Mario Kart games, it's probably one of my favorites, personally. I just love playing Super Circuit. I can't hate on it. It's a good game. It has a bit of a steep learning curve, but once you get around it, the controls in the game, my god, are they fluid to play with. They're just so bouncy and fun, and I just love how they control. The game has some really good music, and honestly one of the most underrated Rainbow Roads of all time, so I can't really hate on it. It just is an underrated Mario Kart game, and it is sad that it gets conflated with the original so much, because they really aren't that much alike. The only other Mario Kart that I can really say is underrated like this is something like 7 or even Double Dash. Wait a minute! Double Dash! Double Dash! Double Dash! Double Dash! Everybody loves Double Dash. I hate Double Dash! Mario Kart Double Dash was the Mario Kart for the GameCube. The GameCube was a very underrated console just in general, to be honest, and Double Dash is one of its more underrated games. Now, a lot of people recently and nowadays have actually started appreciating Double Dash. There's been a lot of Double Dash appreciation I've seen recently, but even then, out of all Mario Kart, it is really underrated. It really is a wacky and goofy Mario Kart. It really feels more like a Mario Party game than a Mario Kart game. And honestly, I like that about it. Mario Kart Double Dash is just so fun to play. The controls can be really slippery on them, which can make the carts really difficult to control, but I like that about it. Also, the items in the game are really good, especially the fact that there's special items. Every character in the game had its own special item. Peach and Daisy had a hard item that would steal items from other players. Mario and Luigi had fireballs they could shoot out. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong had a giant banana that when it was hit would split into 3 smaller bananas. It really is a good game. I love the game itself. And of course, the Double Dash mechanic. Having 2 races on one kart is something that I don't think any Mario Kart's really been able to replicate in terms of its wackiness. Yeah, other Mario Karts added other big features like Mario Kart Wii adding bikes or Mario Kart 8 adding anti-gravity, but neither of them felt like Double Dash. When you play Double Dash, it feels like Double Dash. It didn't feel like any of the other Mario Karts. It very much is its own confined game, and I love that about it. I really do wish there was some more content for the game, to be honest, because it only ever had 16 tracks. It only ever had 16 Nitro tracks, no any retros, which is sad because I just want to see what they could have done if they had some more tracks in the game. Now I think about it, the GameCube itself had a lot of underrated games, like Wind Waker. Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker is probably one of the most overlooked games in the Zelda franchise. While most people are looking at Ocarina of Time, or Breath of the Wild, or even Majora's Mask, most of them just overlook this one. And it really is sad because out of all Zelda games, this is the one I've had the most fun with. I've played a few Zelda games in my time, not as much as I have something like Mario, but I have dipped my toes in a fair few times now. However, Wind Waker, out of all Zeldas, is the only one I've actually ever managed to complete, and it's because I actually just really like it. Wind Waker has such a charming but simple story to it compared to the other Zelda games. You're not really trying to save the world as such, and while that is part of the goal, it's mainly just to save your sister in the game. That's something I can get behind. Is a very nice, simple story concept that I kind of like. I appreciate that about it. The game itself has some of my favorite music out of the entire franchise. The ocean faring that you can do as well, with all the different islands you can visit, is really fun to go to. The treasure hunting in the ocean is also really fun. The only thing I really can complain about in the game is the ending. The ending kind of drags out a little bit, and I've said this before on the channel. When you're playing Wind Waker and you get to the end, it kind of feels like a constant feeling of the game should have ended like 10 minutes ago, and that just never goes away. However, apart from that, I really do love Wind Waker. It is 100% my favorite Zelda game, I can say that for sure. Wind Waker truly is unique as a game, and honestly, I've never played a game that's kind of given me the same feeling as Wind Waker. Also, Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is a pretty big franchise on Nintendo consoles now. Starting originally on the N64, locked to Japan, it eventually would jump its way over to the rest of the world on the GameCube with Animal Crossing population growing. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I don't trust anyone that calls Animal Crossing population growing. I call it Animal Crossing population growing. This game is just kind of different to the other Animal Crossings. Compared to something like New Horizons or even New Leaf, it just feels different. It has a lot more of a cozy feeling, a lot more of an enclosed feeling, because, well, it kind of is. You don't have as much you can do in this version of Animal Crossing. There's a lot more limitations to what you can do, but I kind of like that limitation. I've not played too much of the game, but it definitely has its own unique charm to it. It feels like very much more of an autumn or winter game compared to something like New Horizons, which feels far more like a summer game, to be honest. It has a lot of unique quirks to it. The characters feel like actual characters rather than just the NPC you're talking to next door. And, well, I just appreciate it a lot more than I've appreciated games like New Horizons. Now, don't get me wrong, I've poured a lot more hours into something like Animal Crossing New Horizons, but there is just something different about the GameCube version that I really do like. The GameCube version of Animal Crossing is really truly different compared to all the other versions of Animal Crossing, and well, I can't hate on it for that. However, not all underrated games exist purely on the GameCube. Some of them exist on the 3DS, with a game like New Super Mario Bros. 2. Wait, no, don't shoot! Listen, I know New Super Mario Bros. 2 isn't actually that good of a game. However, it's my video, it's my channel, I'll make it how I want to, and you can't stop me from doing it! The New Super Mario Bros. Series. Oh, how I love this one. Everyone loves the New Super Mario Bros. Series, even though it kind of failed and got really stale and bad at the end of its life and died a really slow, painful death. It had a good legacy. The original New Super Mario Bros. On the DS is beloved by all that have played it, and New Super Mario Bros. Wii was a cult classic. Anything after that, though, was not the best. New Super Mario Bros. U was and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe was basically begging for death at this point. However, there is the other one, the forgotten one, you could say. New Super Mario Bros. 2. The game for the 3DS. It was almost like Nintendo admitted with this one, yeah, I know, we're just fucking with you at this point. Nintendo realistically, what were they doing with this one? They really wanted to embrace coins in this Mario game, which really hadn't been useful in a Mario game since forever? Mario games realistically didn't need any reason for coins to exist, to be honest. They were just kind of there. They'd occasionally give you an extra life if you got enough of them, but they just weren't that useful. New Super Mario Bros. 2, though, looked at this and said, haha, yeah, that's funny. Yeah. More coins. Gold Mario. More coins. More coins. More coins. More coins. And they decided to add those more coins. The game is filled to the brim with coins. Every part of the level is just coins, coins, coins. There are golden rings, which when you touch them will turn every single enemy golden, and they'll produce coins out of thin air. There's Gold Mario who turn any block and any enemy into coins. There's gold in everything. Golden this, golden that, golden here, gold over there. It's just coins. 1-ups are a dime a dozen in this game. Honestly, getting a mushroom is a lot harder than getting a 1-up. And to be honest, it's really, really bad, but in a way that I like. New Super Mario Bros. 2 is bad, but in a really goofy, fun way. It's really Nintendo saying, yeah, we're selling out. What are you gonna do about it? Nintendo's lack of ideas at this point was clearly evident, so them just taking coins and rolling with it is honestly really funny. And for me, to be honest, as much as, yeah, the game maybe isn't as underrated as I say, I really like it for nostalgia reasons. New Super Mario Bros. 2 is an okay game. It's not the best out of the series, but I like it. I've got a lot of nostalgia associated with the game. I remember when I first got it for Christmas, it was amazing. It was like, oh wow, I can play Mario, but now my retinas are burning. And to be honest, I just like it. It had some other good stuff in it, to be fair. Like the challenge packs. These are packs you could buy at the Nintendo eShop that would give you extra content in the game. These challenge packs were, well, just challenging levels you could play through. These challenge packs went all the way from decently easy to actually really difficult. It took a while to beat some of these for some people. And I appreciate that about the game. Now, there is one last game I want to touch on here, and that is Super Mario 3D Land. This was the 3D kind of Mario for the 3DS. It was designed more to be like Mario Galaxy, but even more linear. When Mario Galaxy was first released on the Nintendo Wii, it was designed to be like every other 3D Mario, but more linear. Super Mario 3D Land took that, saw that, and said, yeah, linearity. I want that. I'll take a Tanuki Leaf as well. To go, please. They added back the Tanuki Leaf from Super Mario Bros. 3, and there's a lot of Super Mario Bros. 3 influence on the game, as you can tell. Not just the Tanuki Leaf, but the general gameplay, to be honest. It feels very Super Mario Bros. 3-like. The music is like what I would imagine if Super Mario Bros. 3 to be remade today, to be honest. This nice jazz, funky music that plays throughout the game is really nice. It's often overshadowed by a sister game, Super Mario 3D World, which was really released on the Wii U. It often overshadows it just mainly because of the larger game and it released on a mainline console and it got re-released on the Switch as well. But 3D Land does have its own charm to it, to be honest. It has some really interesting and fun level design to it, and it makes use of the linearity in it, honestly, I'd say better than 3D World does. 3D World just kind of acts like a 2D Mario game put into a 3D perspective, kind of, and they just kind of ended it at that. But 3D Land does actually feel like they're using the linearity plus the 3D Mario aspect really to its advantage. It really is a good game, and it has a lot of really good aspects to it, especially when you consider a lot of the people who came from the design team who created Mario Galaxy worked on this game as well. The game really is actually quite good, it's just not appreciated that much because, well, it gets overshadowed by 3D World, which is sad. It's a good game. Out of all games I kind of want to be remade, if they were to be remade again, this has got to be up there, to be honest. It's a good game. I really like it, and more people should. It has amazing level design. It has fun power-ups in it. It's on the 3DS, so you know it's going to burn your retinas off. But apart from that, there's not really that many flaws with it. So those are the underrated games, Nintendo games specifically, as to which we talked about in this video. So, I guess all that's left is, what do you think about these? Underrated games exist across the entire spectrum of video games. I said that in the intro. And honestly, yeah, they do. Any game can be underrated if it's good enough and has a small enough community around it. And to be honest, it is sad for some of these games. And it's sad that some of these games will never really get the appreciation they deserve. Something like 3D Land might eventually come back into the public eye, but to be honest, I don't think something like Mario Kart Super Circuit is ever going to come into the public eye, just because it's too associated with the original. Some of these games just have too many bad stigmas about them, despite the fact that they are really, really good games. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on these. So, final verdict? God, I hate those 2D Mario Karts, those damn carters, in fact. I think I got some carters to kill. He was a military veteran.